When should you speak? When should you be silent? Knowing when to speak and when to be silent is not just about knowing whether to talk or not, but it is about how we use our words to create a positive impact and show respect for ourselves and others. Understanding when we should keep our mouths shut and when we should open them requires the deepest understanding and careful consideration, because if we use our words incorrectly, sometimes our speech can turn into boasting that destroys our value and ruins our future because we speak too much at the wrong time or in the wrong context. And on the other hand, our silence can also turn into an image that shows we are cowardly, lack courage, and lack the idea to express our opinions when our thoughts are needed, and so on. In this video, we will cover 26 key points that can allow us to clearly distinguish when to speak and when to be silent. And if we speak, how should we speak to achieve the best results? Now, without further ado, let's listen together. 1. Don't speak just to speak, but if you must speak, speak meaningfully. This point emphasizes the importance of quality over quantity of words. Speaking a lot without substance not only fails to add value to the conversation, but can also make others feel annoyed and look down on us. Words without purpose are like noise, distracting and meaningless. Therefore, before speaking, consider first whether what you want to say is beneficial to the listener. Does it help solve a problem, increase understanding, or provide encouragement? A word with meaning, even a single phrase, can be more powerful than thousands of worthless words. 2. Don't speak to make others think you are clever, but speak to make them clearly understand what you want to convey. The primary goal of communication is to transmit a message so that the recipient understands it correctly, not to compete in intelligence. Using highly technical terms or complex jargon just to show that you are knowledgeable can result in the listener not understanding anything at all, and ultimately, the communication will fail. A truly wise person can explain complex matters to become simple so that the general public can understand. Knowing how to hold your tongue and not speak when others are angry, choosing to listen more than speak to learn, or not participating in gossip, are all decisions made by a clever person. Silence in some situations can prevent conflict, maintain dignity, and show maturity in managing the situation. 4. If you cannot say something better than silence, then remain silent. This is a crucial principle for maintaining the best relationships. Words can be a double-edged sword. They can encourage, they can also destroy. If the words you intend to speak are not constructive, useless, or can hurt others, choosing silence is the best option. Silence in this case is not a sign of cowardice, but an act of protecting yourself and others from the negative power of those words. 5. Sometimes, silence is the best response to an inappropriate question. Not all questions require an answer. When someone asks too personal or provocative questions, responding can make the situation even tenser. Maintaining silence is a clear message that I have no intention of engaging in this conversation. It is a way to protect our personal boundaries and also demonstrate self-control over our emotions by not allowing others to drag us into unnecessary matters. 6. Silence can be the answer for people who won't understand. When you try your best to explain the reasons, but the other party still refuses to listen or is unwilling to understand, continuing to speak further is a complete waste of our time and energy. Silence in this situation shows that you value yourself and will not force others to accept your opinions. It is a peaceful way to end the conversation and maintain your self-respect. 7. The courage in silence is rare, but it is very important. Meanwhile, the courage to speak is common, but it must have a reason for speaking. Most people can easily say what they think, but knowing how to control yourself to be silent when necessary requires great patience and deep consideration. Speaking without thinking can be done easily, but remaining silent with a clear purpose, such as to listen first to understand or to avoid conflict, that is the true courage that few people can achieve. 8. The time to open your mouth is to protect those weaker than you, and the time to close your mouth is to avoid increasing conflict. This point shows the ethics of using words. We have a responsibility to use our voice to help those who are voiceless, or those who are being victimized. That is the time when speaking becomes our duty. Conversely, when a conversation is escalating and yields no result other than an argument, knowing how to close our mouths to end the conflict is the wisest decision. 9. Opening your mouth to defend people who cannot speak is more important than closing your mouth for your own peace. Personal peace should not be used as an excuse for being indifferent to injustice. Silence when seeing others suffer is a form of egoism. Sometimes we must dare to risk our own peace to stand up, speak the truth, and defend justice for society. 10. Don't open your mouth to fill your own emptiness, but open it to fill the emptiness of others. Some people talk a lot because they feel lonely or need attention from others. This kind of talking is to satisfy their own needs. However, valuable speech is to speak for others, such as encouraging them when they are discouraged, sharing knowledge with those who need it, or giving hope to those who are despairing. This is the right thing that we should do. 11. Silence with respect is better than speaking with contempt. When we disagree with the opinion of others, we have two choices: to respond with words that show contempt, or to choose silence to show disagreement peacefully. Speaking with contempt will immediately destroy the relationship, while silence with respect can preserve the relationship and provide an opportunity for discussion later. 12. Before wanting to correct others, check yourself first. Sometimes, silence is better than gossiping about others. It is easy to see the flaws in others and talk about them. However, doing so does not make us a better person. Before wanting to criticize others, we should turn and look at ourselves first. Using time to improve ourselves is more beneficial than spending time gossiping about others, which is a negative and ultimately useless activity. 13. Do not open your mouth when you are angry, because you might close your own future. Anger is like a fire that destroys our intellect. Words that come out when we are angry may lack consideration and are often words that make us regret later. They can destroy relationships with friends, family, or colleagues, and can close career opportunities or other good opportunities in our lives. Therefore, learning to control anger is very important. 14. Before speaking, take a deep breath. Words that come from a calm mind are more powerful than words that come from a confused mind. This is a highly effective method. When facing a tense situation, taking a deep breath helps your heart rate return to normal and makes your mind calmer. When our mind is calm, our thinking will become clearer, and the words that come out will be filled with reason and consideration, making others easier to listen to than when we are confused. 15. Silence. When others speak is the deepest form of respect, and speaking when others need support is the best form of friendship. This point shows the balance between listening and speaking in a relationship. Concentrating on listening without interrupting is a great honor given to the speaker. It shows that we value their thoughts and feelings. At the same time, when a friend needs encouragement from us, speaking words of encouragement shows our true friendship, being there for each other during difficult times. 16. When you know what you should say, go ahead and say it. But when you don't know what you should say, then sit and listen. This is a simple but highly effective guiding principle. If you have clear information and a constructive purpose, speak up. However, if you are unsure or don't clearly understand the situation, listening is the wisest choice. Through listening, you will receive additional information and understand the perspectives of others, which can help you make better decisions. 17. You cannot learn anything when your mouth is still open. Learning is a process of receiving. It is not expressed through our words. When we are talking, we are expressing what we already know. But when we are silent and concentrating on listening, we are opening up opportunities for ourselves to receive new knowledge, new ideas, and experiences from others. Therefore, knowing how to listen is the most important key to lifelong learning. 18. Unthoughtful words are a sharp knife that inflicts emotional wounds, while deliberate silence is a shield that protects emotional safety. Physical wounds can be healed, but emotional wounds caused by words can leave scars forever. Words spoken without thinking can easily affect the feelings of others. Conversely, choosing silence after careful consideration can be the best protection that prevents problems from arising and also protects our own emotions and the emotions of others. 19. Words can create conflict, but silence can neutralize it. When there is a disagreement or conflict, when both parties continue to use words to respond nonstop, the conflict will grow larger and larger. It is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Conversely, choosing silence with a purpose by one of the parties is an effective strategy to lower the heat of the conflict. Silence gives the other party time to calm down and rethink, which leads to peaceful problem solving. 20. The power of words lies in abandoning harmful words. The true influence and power of our voice are not found in the number of words we speak, but in knowing how to abandon or not speak words that cause danger, or words that incite, or words that bring sorrow, and so on. Controlling your mouth not to speak negatively is an act of preserving your honor and maintaining the peace of others. Not speaking a bad thing is equivalent to creating a good thing separately. 21. People who talk about themselves the most may be the ones who don't clearly understand themselves yet. Talking too much about yourself is often a sign that the individual is seeking validation from the outside world. It is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Conversely, choosing silence with a purpose by one of the parties is an effective strategy to lower the heat of the conflict. Silence gives the other party time to calm down and rethink, which leads to peaceful problem solving. 20. The power of words lies in abandoning harmful words. The true influence and power of our voice are not found in the number of words we speak, but in knowing how to abandon or not speak words that cause danger, or are words that incite, or words that bring sorrow, and so on. Controlling your mouth not to speak negatively is an act of preserving your honor and maintaining the peace of others. Not speaking a bad thing is equivalent to creating a good thing separately. 21. People who talk about themselves the most may be the ones who don't clearly understand themselves yet. Talking too much about yourself is often a sign that the individual is seeking validation from the outside world. These people may feel dissatisfied with themselves internally and need others to confirm their value. People who clearly understand themselves do not need to announce it to others, because they already have value from within themselves. 22. Talking a lot about yourself shows a lack of self-confidence. While silence with confidence does not need to prove anything, this expands on the previous point. True confidence comes from within and is demonstrated through actions, not just words. People who have true confidence are calm. They don't need to boast about their abilities because their work has already spoken for them. In contrast, those who lack confidence tend to try to exaggerate about themselves to cover up their internal weaknesses. 23. Confident people are not afraid to be silent to allow others to express their opinions. People who have true self-confidence do not feel the need to talk to, dominate, or control the conversation. Conversely, they understand that silence and listening are forms of respect and inner strength in self-management. They have the courage to maintain silence to give others a chance, especially those who are hesitant, to share their thoughts. This is not a surrender, but a demonstration of mature and confident leadership, showing that listening to others does not diminish our value. 24. The time to close your mouth is when you feel like gossiping. And the time to open your mouth is when you must speak the truth for justice. It clearly sets the boundary that gossiping is an immoral act that destroys trust and increases division. This is the time when you must firmly close your mouth. Conversely, when the truth is covered up or injustice occurs, speaking out to defend the truth is a courageous act and a responsibility for all of us. 25. Silence in the face of injustice is equal to supporting the evil act. Ethics do not allow us to be indifferent to injustice. If we see wrongdoing, a violation occurring, and we choose to remain silent due to fear or wanting to maintain personal peace, then our silence will become a tool that helps the wrongdoer get away easily. Speaking out, even with some risk, shows the will to maintain ethics and justice in society. 26. Our words should be a light that illuminates the path, not a shadow that conceals the truth. When we speak, we must have a clear purpose to provide clarity, uphold the truth, and increase understanding. We must not use our words to cover up mistakes, distort the truth, or make others misunderstand. Like a light that helps people see the way, speaking with integrity and honesty is a most important ethical duty for every person. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.